Here's the first place to start. I want you to scroll down. If you see there's a bunch of stuff that Zay's part. The first part's not that interesting. I want you to scroll first to the part where it says on the fan getting on stage. Because Monty, everyone else thought this was funny and hilarious. This is exactly what I was talking about in that past episode. That is terrifying. So the person, this is what the quote says. It says, "Oh, the audience who came up on stage. I didn't know who it was, but he suddenly came up to us going, 'Faker, my goat.' Then the security came and dragged him away," right? At the moment, you're all thinking this is all fun and games. The next sentence, if you actually think about the implication, is terrifying. The next sentence is, "I said thank you to him and the guards, but suddenly he tried to kiss me, so I dodged." Right, guys, let me just immediately make this work for you. Imagine that was a woman on the stage there and a man just ran up on stage and tried to kiss her while security pulled him off. Do you already see why this is mental at this point in time? Like, that is, even though that's presented as, it's just fun, it's an overly passionate fan, he's getting in range to literally, like, swap fucking fluids with Faker. Like, this is really crazy, guys. Like, that's the sort of fan I don't want on stage. I don't care how passionate you are. You don't get, by the way, to just run on field and fucking hug your favourite player. I don't care how much of a fan you are. What are we talking about?
So I am not, let me be very clear about what I'm about to say. I don't know who this fan was. Obviously, it could have been very innocuous. So I don't want to like target this person unfairly, but I will instead tell a different story about League of Legends so you guys understand how big of a problem this could actually be. And I don't know if many people have talked about this publicly, but I feel like enough time has passed that we can actually discuss this now.
Was it a certain person from Europe who maybe came from a different game, Monty, and he got obsessed with a certain, let's say, player for TSM maybe? I'll store that out there. I won't say that, but I think I know the story you're from. Yeah, go for it. It's a banger.
This is actually a crazy story that I don't know if has ever been told publicly.
I don't think it has, mate.
The reason why it's fine now is enough time has passed, but I do think it's going to show you guys the danger of this, and also why Riot should absolutely understand the danger of this, because Riot knows about what I'm about to tell you guys. So a long time ago, and we're talking what, like 2014, 2015?
I think it was early 2015.
2015. I mean, your memory for this stuff is always better than mine, so I trust you. I think it was early 2015. This was when IEM Katowice was still on the circuit, so it would have been either 2014 or 2015. It was an event I was at, and there was.
And this is back when they used to have CS and League at the same event, obviously.
Yep. So there was. We don't need to name this person, but there was a player in a different game in Counter-Strike.
I won't name them either, but I'll just say this. They are actually known within the other game, Counter-Strike, for having done something else mad with their former teammates. I will say they're known in CS, but nobody knows the connection to the League one. So we won't name them now. By the way, they're also not a famous person anymore. A lot of CS fans wouldn't even know them, put it as I said. So just know it was someone from the Counter-Strike world who was like at a pro or semi-pro level. This person went to Katowice, basically.
So this person was like sexually obsessed with Bjergsen. And
it was gay, as far as I know, and Bjergsen was just a target of his obsession. Yes,
basically a stalker for Bjergsen that was possibly quite dangerous. And it got to the point where this person was actually banned from IEM Katowice. And was like on a no admittance list by security. There were pictures of this person everywhere. It actually got so crazy, guys, that this person literally came to America and then was stalking Bjergsen in Los Angeles, figured out where Bjergsen lived, and then was intercepting like his Uber Eats orders to deliver them to Bjergsen himself.
This is nightmare fuel. This is nightmare fuel, bro.
This is shit that actually happened.
My nightmare is the Uber Eats guy handing it over and going, "Hey, remember to tell Monty on the next. What are you talking about? I have to move, right? Pack it all up. We have to move country, go the witness protection scheme. I can't handle this."
So anyway, that is why we are concerned. Anyway, this person, so to TSM's credit, like I don't want to shit on TSM. They were aware of this problem. The police were contacted. This person was basically ejected from America forever as a result of these actions.
That even sounds like a meme. I got kicked out of America forever because I'm too obsessed with TSM views. That's like some shit I would make up in a comic book, you know? Like, how's that real? How's that actually happened? What are you in here for? Child murder? What did you do? I kept trying to contact Bjergsen and deliver Uber Eats to him. Stay away from me, bro. I just want to serve my time peacefully. I don't want any problems.
I mean, we can laugh at it now because nothing bad happened, but this was like some really serious stalking shit. that was going on. And like I said, to
Oh.
TSM's credit, they did handle it and they did get the authorities involved. The authorities did respond. They did react. They did get this person out of the States and away from Bjergsen. But also, these things were not protecting Bjergsen necessarily in other locations in the world. And it's, sometimes people just are crazy and you just never, I'm not saying this person was crazy who was on stage, but there have been like legit super crazy people, as in this example in the scene, that might become very dangerous at any given point in time. And I think that's really the concern, which is why Thorin and I have such a strong reaction when we see things like this on stage, because you just never know what will happen in that situation.
Anyway, that one, that one sadly is not as fun as people thought it was. Everyone else was loving it. Like, lol, the guy got to kiss him, Faker's so great, isn't he? The way he was fine with it, etc. So, but it's more the game stuff I thought was interesting. Like, I think some of those are quite bangers. Like I told you, if you wanted to script out what I said, the Game 5 one, first of all, I just love the way Faker, one thing that's good about Faker, Monty, is, look, we've speculated in the past. I would say as someone who, the famous term is neurodivergent. I can't know, but I would speculate it's possible Faker could be neurodivergent. He has similar sort of tells that remind me of myself and other people like that. Like the way he, for example, he actually seems, even though he's Korean, by the way, it's funny. I think the interesting thing is, to me, Faker's not super Korean in the sense of being polite, Monty. He actually can be very blunt. It's more like he's just not a drama hound, so he doesn't say like controversial things. Yeah. To me, he actually is a very blunt figure. He's actually more, he's a lot less tactful than other Koreans would be. Like he will just say, remember, in this scenario, right, this is where people don't realize, you have to know people are all different how they approach things. Normally, people would tell me, Faker's the GOAT, he's the most magnanimous, beautiful, but no, bro, he just won Worlds and he then put on a stream and criticized the team that lost to him. Like, he's actually just a really blunt guy who just has his own perspective. So in this Game 5, he has loads of criticisms of BLG. He says Knight didn't need Flash. He fucking basically he also got mad that when he did a Flash fail himself, apparently all the other team, BLG, pinged him to fuck with him. I didn't even know they were doing that in these games. I love that. That's actually straight fire. I love that. It's fucking mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to your point about Faker, having conversations with him many times, it would shock me if he was not. It would shock me if he was not. I do, one of the things I found interesting about this was that the Ziggs kills, because in Game 4, a lot of the really important action that was happening was when Faker was getting a solo kill on Ziggs and then pushed him out again in the top lane when the camera wasn't looking at him, but that actually allowed a grub setup that was very important to the pacing of the game. And so Faker making these plays was actually huge. And so it explains, basically he thinks that it was a bluff, that Elk had used his satchel charge as a bluff to think that somebody was there when he wasn't, and Faker called the bluff and went in and actually killed him.
Which is straight fire. Remember, Monty, if you lose that game, Worlds is over. Like these aren't just like mate, these are players that I'd say fair play for having the balls to figure that out in solo queue. He's doing it in Game 4 down to 1-2 in the World's final. Like, these are gangster fucking players, mate. What a sick. To know that's true as well is fucking sick. This is why it's so dope to get this info.
Yeah, I mean, even small things too, like the during the time when he used and he stole the Rakan ult with Sylas, and he made that play in the mid lane. He said if he knew that they didn't have flashes, he wouldn't have used flash. It's like, what the fuck?
It's the idea he's also harshly critiquing himself when he won the fucking game.
It's like the best play at Worlds, and he's like, well, I thought. If I had known they didn't have Flash, we didn't have those timers, I wouldn't have used Flash. I'm like, really? You wouldn't have just used it anyway to basically guarantee? This play was not min-maxed enough.
I know. The sheer greed of this guy. By the way, this is why, though, and I know Kiwi loves his angle, so I'll do this. This is why Faker actually is so great, though, Monty. There was once a great quote, I actually heard this was once, back in the 90s when Kobe Bryant was first coming along as a player, he was starting to become really good. I remember watching a play he did where he did like a 3-point play, did like a basket, and then he got the and one, right? And the commentator who was commentating the game was Doug Collins, who was actually an early coach of Michael Jordan. So he understood like what Michael Jordan's career path was like and how he like elevated his play to be the best ever. And what he said was, the reason why Kobe got this 3-point play is because it was one of those scenarios where even though you got fouled early, you do that thing, which by the way, Kobe and Michael Jordan might be the best players ever at, which is the second they get fouled, they always follow through so they can potentially get the 3-point play, right? As in, even if they're really badly fouled across the arms, they'll still like try to like force the ball up or like spin it on some crazy angle to go in, because every now and then it'll go in and you just get an extra point, right? And what the commentator said was, he said that's the thing about greatness is greedy. It's not about just like letting the game come to you, and you know, if you win that time, the really great player really believes he can win every second of the game. He can always get the edge. And so what you're seeing here is, we're laughing about it, but actually the mentality to even critique a game-winning play that won you a world championship 11 years in your career is why Faker is goated.
Sure.
That's not the hands. It's not the shit from season 3 and season 5 and the amazing Galio plus it. That's actually like a side component. This mentality is actually what makes him the GOAT. Now, yeah, he needed all the talent and all the rest of it, but this mentality is what's baller. That's what I can fuck with heavily, bro. I think this is dope.
Yeah, it was great. I just want to point out that at the end of this stream, apparently he started playing Overcooked 2, which if you guys, which is just hilarious.
The way it's phrased is just hilarious, because it just goes, mentioned he checked if Zay's head was bleeding, then goes to play Overcooked 2. even though they just mean it as like a matter of fact, that just sounds hilarious, doesn't it? Again, it makes him sound like some Kramer-esque figure. I love it.
So I love Overcooked as a game. It's a game I've played with my wife in the past. It's like a multi-person game. You can play it single player, right? Where you're trying, it's like a silly kitchen game where you're trying to prepare orders and you're bumping into each other, and it's just hilarious. But the fact that he just spends his time playing Overcooked 2 in the off season and apparently is very bad at it is super funny, because if you guys haven't seen it, Faker is great at League of Legends. Obviously the greatest of all time. Extremely talented, extremely intelligent, very hard worker. Like, you know, this is a very big contrast to how he is in every other facet of his life. If you guys want to laugh, go look up, if you haven't seen it, the Faker ice carving video, where during OGN, he was like, they took him out to do some, you know, ice sculpture carving, and Faker literally doesn't know how to use a chisel and a pick, to the degree that he doesn't understand that you take the chisel and you hit it with the hammer, right? You hit it with the hammer. Instead, he's just going to town with both the hammer and the chisel on this, and like the ice pick on this piece of ice. It is hilarious. And so to hear about his Overcooked 2, you would think, because Overcooked 2 is a game about multitasking, about prioritizing certain things, like you would think he would be naturally good at this, unlike ice carving, but apparently not. But yeah, it is quite funny. But yeah, go check out the Faker ice carving video. All-time classic. Yeah, otherwise,
I'm trying to find where it was, but I'm almost certain as well. I'm trying to find it, Monty. I'm pretty sure he said somewhere here as well, something like that. He was like ill in the final or something.
I think he said he had a cold during the semifinals.
Oh, so there we go.
Against
so it was a
Genji and BLG. Right, okay. He said he had a cold for about the last 2 weeks. Inevitably, people are going to make Michael Jordan flu game references now, even though it's not actually physical. Like, obviously, playing basketball while being sick is significantly harder than playing League of Legends.
Here's the funny thing: a lot of people who are like casuals don't know about that story, Monty. The actual insiders in the NBA all say that like the real secret is Michael Jordan was just hungover. He wasn't actually with the flu. What he did was, Michael Jordan was a notorious person for doing, because he had like one of those bizarre people who had like insane energy naturally. So he would do stuff, by the way, Monty, like play 2 rounds of golf before he played like a basketball game. So I've heard like he was just partying, he just got a bit too hungover, and then he's just such a G, just like sweated out in the gym and fucking carry the game. By the way, it's still cool. It's still a pretty baller story. It's just because his Michael Jordan's image isn't that he could be the rock and roll star. He has to make it that he was ill, didn't he? Because remember, Michael Jordan's whole approach back then was to seem spotless with his image and have like the baby face approach, wasn't it? But that's why actually that reference isn't even that good, because the joke is even he wasn't actually having a flu game. But in some ways, it is rock and roll to be fucking hungover and still carry the finals. That's pretty dope. And we on that one. And it is dope. If Faker really was ill here and he had these great games, fair play. That is quoted.
Yeah, for sure.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.